So the reality is that organizations can no longer truly future-proof. Things are moving too fast. Change is coming too fast. Innovation is coming too fast. But what you can do is you can build your resiliency for the future. So I started working in AI in 2010, and it was completely different back then. AI development has been around a long time. The 1960s even was a really vibrant time of AI development. But what happened about a year and a half ago, just a little bit over a year and a half ago, completely changed everything. OpenAI launched ChatGPT, and all of a sudden, everybody has really, really sophisticated AI at their fingertips. What the work that they did is in a space called generative AI, and the acceleration of generative AI since then has been absolutely staggering and surprised everybody, even people deep in the field. And so there's a couple things to know about that. First of all, this new kind of AI and what's available to us now unlocks an entirely new class of business cases. These are business cases that now allow us to use the power of these tools on open-ended tasks and to interface and interact with them in our natural language, and to do so in a variety of modes. And so that is a massive opportunity, but it also brings with it new challenges, and challenges that we're just starting to learn how to navigate. And so, our structures and the way that we're used to working, our business processes, our organizations, our mindsets, they're all set up for traditional software. And this new kind of software, generative AI, works really differently. It works vastly differently than traditional software. And so we need to develop new ways of working with it. We need to develop new ways of interacting with it. We have to set new expectations for what is possible with this software. And that's really hard. And so that's part of the challenge that's ahead. So I'd say in summary, it's massive opportunity, uncharted waters. And so that's why I emphasize there's a lot of urgency right now to learn, because those that learn how to harness the power of these tools, which are truly powerful, will be able to use this to drive competitive advantage. And so I emphasize that this is truly a learning time. This is a time to really accelerate the way you learn, and that we can't afford to wait. So there's a lot of talk about how this is about machines or the robots taking over or doing the work. What is not talked about enough, and what's really important, is that the real opportunity in this new kind of AI is to combine the unique power of our human brain with what is now possible, this machine intelligence and this machine brain. It's when you combine human intelligence and machine intelligence that a new possible is unlocked. And so we have the opportunity with this technology to supercharge our ability as humans, as people. We have the ability to supercharge the way we operate as teams and as an organization. What stands in the way of that is that we don't know how to interact with AI. We need to work on our human AI communication to be able to extract value from this. And the good news is that there's a practical way that you can approach that. There are things you can do to start to get your arms around this technology and to extract value from it. In my talks, I really emphasize not only contextualizing what is happening, why now, what changed, what is now possible, but also to give people really practical guidance on how do I start we're really getting something valuable out of these tools. What does it mean for my organization? How can my organization leverage these tools better? And so with that combination, I really work to help people get more out of these tools, to help these tools really, people understand how to get these tools to really serve them. This question is so important. Innovation is coming so fast in the space that we haven't had time to catch up to the complex questions and answering the complex questions that it raises. And that's a really hard position to be in. We haven't caught up as people, as societies, as governments, as organizations. And so, in my talks, I look to really emphasize how everything needs to be done with a lens of responsible AI. I have a slide that covers just a fraction of the many questions that this surfaces, and new questions keep coming up faster and faster. And so it's just really important that we learn what are these new principles of responsible AI, how to act thoughtfully, how to move forward thoughtfully, and that we learn to keep an ear on the ground to new developments in the space. And so this is something that is important to emphasize in every talk. And I end up having a lot of follow-up questions and discussions with people in the audiences that I'm speaking to, because I'm very happy to see it's a question for everybody. So the reality is that organizations can no longer truly future-proof. Things are moving too fast. Change is coming too fast. Innovation is coming too fast. But what you can do is you can build your resiliency for the future. And so there's a couple things that I talk to leaders about thinking about and working on in order to build your resiliency, your future resiliency. So first of all, it's about accelerating your speed to learn. So how can you accelerate the way that your organization learns and brings those learnings into the organization, ingest that learning? And the good news is that there are some organizational structures or mechanisms and approaches that we can use to do that. So the second thing is really to proactively lean in to engaging in the emerging, the shape of change. How these new technologies, how are they going to impact the shape of change and the change of our competitive landscape and what is possible in our businesses and what that means for what new customer expectations we have, our customers will have. And so really leaning into that learning and building your learning ecosystem outside of your four walls is a really important step for that. And so the good news is there are structures and approaches for that too. And the last thing I'll emphasize is that no matter how agile you think your organization is, it's not agile enough. So a lot of this is presented because of the opportunity in AI. So what organizations and teams and people will be able to do so much more, be capable of so much more than they were, and punch above their weight because these tools are so powerful. So what does that mean? That means that your competitors might look different. And so the opportunity in AI may change your competitive landscape. And it's really important to increase your agility as an organization in order to respond to that. So unfortunately, we no longer have an opportunity to really be future-proof. But if we're able to increase our agility, accelerate our speed to learn, and think about how we really proactively understand where as we would say, the puck is headed, where is the ball headed? Like head towards that, you're able to have a fighting chance. So first of all, I always tailor my talks. I think it's really important. And the first thing I do when working with a client is to understand who is your audience? What are your objectives with the audience? where is the current, how much does the audience know? What mindset are they coming into the talk with? And what are their objectives for attending your event? And then I tailor my talks accordingly. So the second thing is, with emerging tech, there is always a range of knowledge in the audience. This is just, I've been speaking to audiences in emerging tech for a long time, and that's always the case. So it's not infrequent where I will come, speaking to an audience of a couple hundred people, and you may have people who have never even interacted with a chatbot in the same audience as people who are really early adopters, have built up an entire library of AI agents, and they might be writing and blogging and doing even videos about their work. And what I found is, I really work hard to craft my talks so that there's something very useful for everybody in the audience. And so I've noticed that those who are more deeply involved in the tech find a lot of value in the fact that I speak about the human side of it. So I do a lot of contextualize what's happening, and that's useful to them. I find that speaking to the human side is new, and I get a lot of gratitude after the talks for highlighting that part. In technology, we often gravitate to just the tech angles. And really, the most important angle is, how does it interact with us? What can we do to get value from it? And so that's a fresh angle for people who are deeper. For those that are new, I really work hard to ensure that I'm inviting people into the subject and demystifying it, making them feel comfortable, and giving them practical guidance so that they know what to do. They not only understand the opportunity, but they know what to do the next day, the next week, the next month. They know what the path is forward to start to more deeply understand this technology and to start to extract value from it. So this is a moment in time where too few people really understand how to get value from these tools. So there are early adopters that have just jumped in, and it's very intuitive for them to use these tools. And they're using it to make themselves, their teams, and their organizations more capable. And there are many more that don't know how to get to value. They may have experimented with this. It may feel like a toy to them. They don't understand, how do I actually use this? And so what I aim to do, what I hope to do, is to solve for that gap. So I think it's really important that more people understand what is now possible. They understand how to use these tools. They understand how to think about a lot of the big questions that come up with these tools. So my goal is really to close that gap and inspire more people to dig in and to better understand this space.